Hey, welcome. I'm starting out with week one of Eat to Live, a guide to craving solutions. This is a program to help you detox, eliminate the unhealthy foods and junky things that you're eating in your diet and get just a little more energy and health. I learned this 20 years ago or so with a program called Clinical Health Institute. And as I went through the program, I was able to learn some skills that I'm passing on now. I did write a book about it called Eat to Live, a Guide to Craving Solutions. And these are some of the menus items that I still use in my diet. So if I've been able to use it as a corner and a post and an anchor for my eating throughout my life for the last 20 or so years, I think it would be a great thing to share. It's not a get quick or lose weight fast program. It's more a skill set that you can work on. And in the process of doing this, you need to be able to eliminate some of the foods that you're eating when you're kind of testing to see what foods you do well with. So this is the way that I think you'll be able to lose weight and feel better. So I'm just going to share my screen here and find my little program that I put on here to kind of let you see a little bit about the outline of everything. So if you could eliminate some of the aches and pains that you have and feel better and have more energy, what would you do with your time? What are the dreams that you have? And what are the things that you're giving up if you don't feel well, and if you lose sleep from indigestion, or live with bloating, or just basically not feeling your best self? So basically that's where I come in, is helping you to see some of the areas that maybe you can improve. These are things that we all know are really nothing new to help you feel better. Let's get rid of that. So there's a lot of diets out there that people are looking for to lose weight and feel better. Keto is one of them. As a nutritionalist, I would recommend not eating a lot of heavy meats and whatnot, and eliminating the carbs in your diet, especially since I've found through my life that people that eat a well-balanced diet, especially with a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, tend to live longer and feel better. So even though I talk about using a lot of veggies, I'm not a vegetarian. I did study nutrition in college and chemistry, and I know I've taught weight loss classes over my lifetime, as well as nutrition classes. So these are just things that I'm going to talk about with you today. Number one is to help you stop cravings and to identify the things that are your own weaknesses. Every one of us is different. And I say to some people my weakness and what it is, and they say, oh, well, that's not mine. So replace your cravings with the things that I bring up and what affects you. We're going to help talk about understanding the chemicals in your foods and how they can affect you when you're trying to lose weight, and also how you can clean your gut and really keep a good intake of probiotics and enzymes to help you digest your food well. And then just share a few recipes that I think will be helpful for you to create your healthy lifestyle. So have any of you seen the movie Around the World in 80 Days? It's an older movie, but there was a character in it named Phileas Fogg, and he had a goal of reaching his the end of his going around the world in 80 days. And he needs fuel for his ship while he's doing this. And in order to make his goal, his crew is ordered to tear the boat apart and burn the wood. And he made it to his goal, but when he arrived there, of course, his steamship was worthless. And that's the way a lot of us are. We're working so hard to reach our goals and to stay busy and working or going to school or taking care of our family, that we very often tear our ship down in the process. We don't get enough sleep. We don't detox our brain enough. We don't give our um, endocrine system enough to fuel it. We don't give our metabolic functions enough to do the things that we need to do to run smoothly and to feel good when we get to the end of our journey. It surprises me how many people sabotage themselves as they try to lose weight. They do good for a little while and then they start feeling deprived. And so they sabotage their goal by eating a lot of carbs or, pizza, donuts, things that are really easy to fall into overeating. One of the reasons we crave so many sweets and so much, food and caffeine or whatever it is that the chemicals in our body are craving is due to a lack of serotonin. So our gut, which is our second brain, is not producing the proper amount of serotonin. And so our body craves sugar and sweet because 90% of the serotonin we use is made in our gut. So our gut is very important for our foundational health. And all of you know you've had addictions. Like when I was in college, I just really loved Dr. Pepper and those little oatmeal cookies that have that creamy filling in the middle. At the University of Utah, that was just one that I always went to right around 10 o'clock if I didn't eat enough for breakfast. And one day in particular, I remember when I went to get that Dr. Pepper, it was out. So I chose Orange Crush. And as soon as I put that bubbly drink in my mouth, my body just went into an immediate shake. And it went on for like 10 or 20 minutes because I was expecting caffeine. And even though I got sugar, my body immediately was just like, where's my caffeine? It's 10 o'clock. So, if you haven't been there, I certainly have. And to feel in control of your diet and not constantly be using your willpower to handle your cravings is a great choice, and it's a freedom. You can only really use your willpower for so long. Like say you're trying to get out of bed in the morning and your pillow says, oh, just lay here for a couple more minutes. And you hit your alarm for snooze and then it rings again and you hit it again. And after 2 or 3 times, you just shut it off and think, I'm just going to do my studies tomorrow, or I'll do that, can that fruit tomorrow or something. And, your willpower, you've got to get up and go right that first decision. You need to make yourself move while you still can. That first conscious moment that you have, sit up, don't lie back down, force yourself to your feet and breathe and get yourself some water. And then you can make your goals. And it's the same way with food addictions. If you can't push yourself into the goals and make those decisions and get off the foods that you're addicted to, it's very difficult for your body to let go of the foods that you're normally eating. So my suggestion is to eliminate the cravings by really simplifying the foods that you eat and choosing lots of vegetables, meats, proteins and fats that are good in nutritional value and as close to their natural form as possible. Back in the 80s, there was a lot of controversy in my nutrition class. A lot of people saying white flour, white sugar, white this and that and the other. And the professor who had studied the chemistry of nutrition said, a carrot grown with chemicals that help it grow is a carrot. It's the same elements. But he said, basically, the only thing I can say is to stay with food in as close to as natural form as possible to get your best nutrition. And this is all that I'm advocating here in this program. So identify your weakness, whether it's something late at night, which was always part of my problem, or something sweet and salty. It's easy for you to avoid certain foods if you don't have the cravings for them. And when the ratio of the nutrition to the calories in your food goes higher, you're getting more nourishment, you just tend to lose weight better. So healthy foods that you could eat are carrots, broccoli, onions, garlic, greens, peppers, mushrooms, blueberries, apples, meats, including fish, eggs, legumes, including different kinds of beans, and healthy fats. I guarantee you this is not going to be the certification of completion you get. Look, there I lost 30 pounds and here she is eating Oreo chips and who knows what else. So it's not that kind of a yo-yo diet. This is just life skills, and I hope that you would incorporate them. I'm going to give you as many as I can. So this is the difference in my program. It's not a 6-week lose weight and then go back to what you were doing. As soon as you give up your protein drink or whatever, you're just right back to eating the foods the way you used to eat them. So when you're doing this kind of an elimination diet, sometimes you crave other foods because as you're losing weight, the chemicals that are in the fat around the lining of your stomach are released. And when they're released, your body craves those foods. So you might just recognize that as you're going through the diet and have different strategies that you can use when you're getting cravings and have the preparation in place and can kind of consider it like running a race. If you fall down, you don't go back to the start, get up and run again. You start where you are, pull yourself up, put the chips away, get out of the kitchen and go to bed and try to give the chips to your grandkids or something the next day so you don't go for them. I mean, try to keep eliminating the foods that catch you. For me, it's just simple things like peanut butter and jelly, but they're there. So I believe that this is a shot for you. You might be at a time in your life where you can really focus on this, and you might not. You don't need money. I'm not charging anything for this. I'm giving you my knowledge and my time because I know that you can achieve things if you really put your heart into it. And so this is your time to create some new habits and work like you don't need money and love like you've never been hurt and feel good about yourself and dance like nobody's watching and be the change that you want to see in others. So the nuts and bolts to my Eat to Live Guide to Craving Solution would start with a 12 to 48 hour fast. When you're ready, you need to have your cupboards kind of stocked up with some things that you would like veggies, whole grains, legumes, just plain maybe oatmeal, some nuts, and introduce foods slowly. And then just watch how you react and look for things like headache, nausea, or bloating, or stomach issues. As you test the foods that you're using, you can eat them one at a time, and then you can combine them with foods as those foods agree well with you, like you would with a baby. You wouldn't start a baby on eating potatoes and gravy or some complex Indian food, for instance. You would start them with carrots, and then you would go to green beans, and then you would go to maybe broccoli or cauliflower or squash, or then later when they're 6 months old, you gently introduce grains like oatmeal and then maybe rice and just go from there. So when you're doing this detox, you can eat foods, but just start out with them one at a time. And when you do well with that food, you can incorporate it after you've introduced another food. So when you've introduced carrots and onions, try them together. When you've introduced green beans and broccoli and cauliflower, cook them together. So you can use combinations foods, but just combine them after you've tested them. I was really surprised when I food tested how reactive I was to bread and milk and to sweet potatoes. Regular potatoes didn't seem to give me the problem, but the glycemic index of sweet potatoes was difficult for my gut. And yet beets, which are equally as high in glycemic index and so forth, didn't cause me problems. So I try to be more careful with the foods that did cause a reaction. And my stomach is very sensitive to foods, and so it's easy for me to see the foods. Now, I have a friend. She says she doesn't have any reactions to food. She actually needs the opportunity to benefit from weight loss, which is just the same as, losing the chemicals in your body, and the cravings is to get rid of that extra fat, which is often contains a lot of the additives and food supplements, stuff that you eat. So when you're losing the weight, you're also detoxing your kidneys and liver. And this process of food elimination and just really going through a reduction diet for 2 to 3 weeks, where you can see how you do and feel better, is a great way for you to go through detoxification so that your body can stop craving the foods that you've been eating and you can gain control. If you've never been in control of what you eat, it's an amazing feeling. You feel super hungry at times and a little weak, but you're actually fine to just keep going. And that's the way you become when you do an elimination diet and you get rid of the foods that normally, a lot of the carbs and processed foods that you normally eat. So what food additives do is they often make you tired, or they change the cellular structure in your body, and your body just basically can't digest them. They can actually kill you over a long period of time. They set off your cravings, make you hungry. They increase your appetite because a lot of them are stimulants. They also cause pain and inflammation, contribute to leaky gut, and increase the bacteria in your stomach, especially complex sugars and starches. And that can all lead to autoimmunity disease. I have a lot of people with illness in my family, and recently I've been using this wonderful supplemental foundational health, and my immune problems have really improved since I've been supporting my metabolic function better and restoring my body kind of at the cellular level. So this is the kind of a program that we're looking for. Now, cookies, and for instance, have been known to trigger migraines. This is a cookie that I've been against for a long time. It has the very most appetite stimulants that the Food and Drug Association will let any producer of a treat put in it, or any food put in it. It was invented in 1912, and the inventor produced a thing called vanillin. And vanillin is a food additive that has, I think, it's derived from wood pulp, and it replaces vanilla, and it's synthetic, and it's been known to cause a lot of problems, but it's a lot cheaper than regular vanilla extract. So this will, be an additive that will really increase your appetite. And if you've ever eaten those cookies, you can tell when you eat them, they really trigger your appetite and your saliva and your sugars and stuff to want to eat more. The best and worst sugars, if you're going to have sweet things, are, well, the worst one are just artificial sweeteners. And refined sugar would be next. And natural honey, maple syrup, agave nectar, and raw sugar would be the more practical things to use. And stevia. And, I just use some stevia and just drip it into a drink and stuff occasionally, or to sweeten a salad, so that I'm not putting sugar in, because it doesn't raise your glycemic index. So that's what I recommend. And then just not eating a lot of juice and things that have sugar in it, or soda, just using a little bit of fresh fruit instead. So monosodium glutamate, or MSG, is another additive that's used. I was raised in a bakery business, so we used a lot of this in our soups and stews. When you go out to eat and the food is so much better, it tastes so much better than it does at home, it could be monosodium glutamate. This really makes your food savory and salty, and it adds a little sweetness too. Monosodium glutamate is found naturally in soy sauce. So the chemicals that they derive from that to make this product have been known to cause a lot of difficulties for people. and it's still very controversial. Trans fats are also bad for you. The bottom line is your body cannot use them. They are used to enhance the shelf life. They work like plastic. And I will give you an example. When I bought a couple of Twinkies for my grandkids, I left them on a little plate out in the play area, and they must have got playing and forgot where they were. And I didn't see them there, and they lasted the whole winter, and they were just a little dirtier for the wear, but they hadn't changed the shape at all. And my son did the same thing with a cookie he bought from the college grocery store. He said they were really quite hard, and he took it and put it on the hood of his car and wired it on the grill. He just drove around with his cookie, kind of a sugar cookie thing on his car. He did things like that. But anyway, it never dissolved. It did not change. It was just like a plastic cookie. Well, the problem with trans fats is they take like a palm oil or some kind of a vegetable oil, and they whip it until it develops another hydrogen in there, so it stays, fluffy. And as a result, it is really keeps food just the way that you want it to look, but it also is next to impossible for your stomach to use or digest, so you just can't eat it. And also fresh meats, nitrates, including ham, bacon, lunch meats, and hot dogs are, some people give their children a lot of hot dogs because they'll eat them. That would be so much more healthy if you cooked fresh meat and cut it up into little pieces and gave it to your children without the nitrates, so that their system doesn't retain so much salt and other chemicals in the nitrates. So you might want to start by kind of cleaning out your fridge and pantry and getting rid of the foods that tempt you. If it's candy or chocolate or cookies, make sure that I've given them away to kids and grandkids before, just to get them out of my fridge and stuff when I'm trying to reduce my waistline, which for me, I do often. If I'm not trying to lose weight and sticking to a program that I've set out here, I tend to go up on the scale, just like everybody else. I have to continually work at it to have success. So in order to begin a program like this, you've got to use organic or fresh foods. They don't need to be expensive. In fact, it's very inexpensive to eat this way. The thing that you would spend your money on more than anything else is your health and your supplements to help you in the areas where you might be needing a little support. And I'll bring that up in just a few slides here. So test your foods, and while you're testing them, your body is naturally cleansing, and that will help stop the cravings and keep fruit to a minimum. I put a picture of berries here because blueberries are very good for their superfood, as well as other berries. They're really quite low in sugar and calories compared to other fruits, and they're really great in smoothies as well. And I recommend using a protein smoothie to kind of help supplement your diet. One of the things I do is a little bit of kind of periodic fasting while I'm doing this detoxing cleanse phase. For instance, I'll wake up in the morning and get a big drink of water, and then I'll take some celery when I kind of get hungry in an hour or so, and rinse off a couple of stalks and take about 1/4 of a bunch of celery of washed parsley, and then put about 16 ounces of water in the blender and take out a colander and a pitcher or a large glass and blend it up, and then just pour that water into through the blender and take out most of the pulp and drink it like that. So that's a really great start for your morning. It kind of extends the amount of time that you can go without eating. So it extends that, periodic fast, which is really quite popular. And the fasting type method that I recommend is a 16-8. So for 8 of the hours in the day, you're eating from about 9 to 3 or 9 to 5, I mean. and then don't eat past there, and then you'll be able to use your energy in the time of the day that you need it, and not be eating when it's late at night, and when those calories just get stacked into your waistline. So plan in the morning to get some exercise. It's not required, but it's certainly good for you to move your body to kind of finish your elimination cycle and get a quick green drink, and then start eating around 2 to 3 hours after you get up. And if possible, my doctor recommends, and I try to get at least a 30-minute walk or swim or cycle or something in where my body's getting some good energy to help burn those calories. Keep a shake if it works for you. I really like the Lifelong Vitality Shake from doTERRA. I use that with some almond milk or coconut milk. This would be enough shake for 2 people. Put a couple of teaspoons or tablespoons. I mean, tablespoons is a lot of calories, so I recommend a couple of teaspoons of chia seeds or flax seeds for fiber as well as protein, and then a scoop, well, 2 scoops of protein powder, one if you're just doing 8 ounces, and a little brewer's yeast if you have it, a teaspoon, and some apple cider vinegar, which has the mother in it, that adds just that little bit of hydrochloric acid that helps digest the food that is left in your system. So a foundational product that I have tried and completely give a 2 thumbs up rating for is the Lifelong Vitality. This is a good nutritional supplement that I recommend with the omega oils. The alpha CRS is the antioxidants. It has some milk thistle in it, as well as turmeric and boswellia and kelp. It really provides a large range of vitamins and minerals. The microplex, I just think of it as just micro, but all natural, with whole foods and sprouts. It's got the whole 100% pure foods that doTERRA and no other company on this planet can offer to give you bioavailable minerals. This has been a really great benefit for many of the individuals that I have shared this with. Now, if you're trying to lose weight, I recommend using the Slim and Sassy drops, especially when you go into the kitchen to prepare food. If you take that and get it in your system, it will help balance your blood sugar and give you 20 minutes to an hour of stability, so that you can prepare food without eating the whole time while you're making it. Or if you're driving in the car and you're doing something where you can't get to food right away, you can take some of that. Or they even have Slim and Sassy gum that you can put in your purse. I recommend using the protein shake and digestive enzymes. Terrazyme is a product that I've also been recommending to individuals. It is such a great supplement. It breaks down the food, but it helps your gut. So your brain is actually doing better. I was doing well on it, and for some reason I went off for a couple of weeks, and I noticed that emotionally and mentally that I kind of tanked. And when I brought this up with some of my nutritional specialists, they said, yeah, it's your gut is your second brain, and you need those Terrazymes to help your gut work well. So perhaps I have leaky gut, but I do super well with digestive enzymes. And if you feel like your gut needs some detoxing, I recommend using the Cleanse and Restore Kit, which is also a product that I can help you obtain. Xandocrine Detoxification Complex is good. It helps the liver as you're going through this cleanse. And Terra Greens, if you're not really good at doing parsley and celery, you can use celery oil, drop that in your water, as well as lemon, or use the Terra Greens, which you just mix in water and drink. I recommend using it to supplement your diet if you're not getting all the greens that you need. Now, there's no charge for my training, just the price of good foundational health for you. And this is not very much. In fact, I love their prices because they offer you a little bit of a point value when you order that adds up to 30%. So I basically get my vitamin bottles in that kit, 3 each for $15 per bottle. The Slim and Sassy is $39, but this gives you 40 shakes. And a lot of shakes give you far less than that for more that I've compared. And the Slim and Sassy has vitamins in it as well as the protein. They have the gum that I mentioned, it's $8.50, and the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is $80. The PB Assist, which is $20 if you customize your Lifelong Vitality Kit. And you can also get the Terrazyme for $20. The Slim and Sassy Drops, which gives you 250 drops of the grapefruit extract, is only $26. So Terrazyme on its own is $37.50, but with your LRP, which is a loyalty rewards order, where you get your vitamins on a monthly level, you can get that for $20 per month. And this really plays a vital role in helping you stay strong and destroy the toxins, as well as break down particles that are normally not digested well in our gut. Even our children need this, and this is available for children as well. If you have a lot of extra aches and pains, I recommend using the turmeric. I find that it's helpful to take the vitamins that has it in it, but if I'm having a specific problem that creates pain, I increase my turmeric or the deep blue polyphenol complex, and that is the turmeric is $28 wholesale. It's $18 for the grapefruit, and the Terra greens I believe are $28 as well. So will your ship sink at the end of your journey? Will you be worthless? If you eat to live, I believe you can clean out those pipes in that old steam engine and keep going. So what we've talked about is stopping your cravings, identifying your weaknesses, getting the chemicals out of your food, cleaning up your gut, and I'm going to give you a couple of recipe tips here. What is possible if you get well and stay well, and what is the cost if you don't? Combine your foods differently and work to achieve your goals. Write them down. Mine pop up in my Google Calendar daily. My weight goal and a reminder to stay off sugar. So this is a protein shake that I recommended above. If you, I have this I can share with you, or you can jot it down. Chia seeds, a little bit of berries, handful of spinach, scoop of protein powder. I like brewer's yeast for added vitamin Bs, and a little bit of apple cider vinegar, which don't even taste in this. Well, one of my favorite soups when you're starting your cleanse after you do a few of these vegetables, say you've tested your butternut squash, your carrots, your bell peppers, garlic, onions. So you can cook those up, whether in a pot or in the oven, until they're cooked to the perfect softness, where there's still a lot of color, but they're nice and soft. And then blend them in a blender. Add a little bit of vegetable broth, salt and pepper, and this wonderful combination of tablespoon of cumin, teaspoon of cinnamon, fourth of a teaspoon of ginger. And your soup will be magical. This is something that I would serve with just maybe a little bit of greens inside, or some pepitas. It's a nice smooth texture and real nice nutty flavor. So that is my overview of Eat to Live Guide to Craving Solutions, Lessons 1. This looks like something that will benefit you. I hope you'll join me in my quest and be in touch with me to help you get the nutritional supplements that you need to feel great. Thanks for joining.